This is Christopher from the Sony Xperia Fan Club YouTube page. Just a couple of tips on the basic use of the Sony Xperia 1 camera app. You know its basic functions, and also to test that, yeah, indeed, there's nothing wrong with it. Not 4 to 7 seconds to save. But I do believe that, yes, like Soul Brother once said, that it depends if it's in low light or in bright light. Seems to save in lower light, it seems to be about a second and a half. In a brighter light, it's about half a second. So anyway, let's get on with the show, shall we? So, basic camera app and its functions. Let's go through it, okay? So we click on the camera. There we go. Right, okay. I have to keep it in the portrait mode, so please excuse me on this one. Look, otherwise, when it goes onto your monitors, you have to keep flipping your head because it being different aspect ratios. So this is in manual mode. Okay. So here are the basic features we got, and the settings that you need to do. Camera mode only. Video, we'll go in another tutorial. We'll talk about that in another tutorial. Okay. So please excuse my messy workroom here. This is where I build my PCs. This is one, as you can see, is inside a coffee table. Total scratch build mod. And there you go. Second loop hasn't have water in it yet because I haven't completed that. But when I get a graphics card block, I'll sort that one out. So anyway, on to the show. So if we click on the cog here, what looks like a cog. We've got a self-timer, self-explanatory, you can take a timed photo. Still image size, you know, I've set it to 16:9 because if you have it 4:3 and the full 12 megapixels, this is what you get. It's a bit, you know, it's not very good viewfinder size. So let's put it back to 16:9. 1:1, self-explanatory. Right, so we're back to 16:9. There you go. So let's get back to here. Predictive capture. As it says on the text, basically it'll take a photo, a few photos before the shutter's depressed, to try and track fast-moving kiddies, etc. You know, the usual sort of thing, or cars or something like that. Object tracking will keep the focus on that object only and defocus around it. So if you're using if you've got a gimbal like the Smooth 4 and you want to use the dolly zoom effect, also known as a vertigo effect, you need to keep object tracking set to off. Right, auto capturing. Right, someone smiles, it'll take a photo. Soft skin effect. I think that's Sony's form of beautify. Keep putting it on or off. I don't see much of a difference, to be honest with you, but your taste might differ from mine. Lens correction photo. This is where it gets interesting. Prioritize correction for distortion. What this is this. If you go on normal wide or telephoto, you want to prioritize image quality. However, if you're taking a wide-angle shot, the ultra-wide that is, what will happen is if you don't then select prioritize connection for distortion, what will happen is that you'll get like a GoPro cam effect, and you're like a fisheye. So what you really need to do is, it'd be best advised to put prioritize correction for distortion. Okay, so here's the next one. Right. Side sense, self-explanatory. We know what that is. Save location. Left is internal, right is to the SD card. Tuck capture. Self-explanatory. Photo preview. You take a photo and it'll give you a few seconds preview before you want to save it. Burst with camera key. I like this because I've got a zoomy daughter. And it takes about 10 shots a second, which is really cool. Use volume key as zoom. Self-explanatory. Sound, say the same. Data storage. What I want to know is what the difference between data storage and save location is. Is it the same? Because you've got the same choices here. Someone in the Sony forums could please explain that a bit more. Smart launch is where you can pick up the camera sideways, lift it up, and it'll automatically put you in camera mode. Launch camera with key, self-explanatory, reset settings. Yep. Now here's where it gets interesting. Okay, so we have different lenses. Now if I'll take you over to the window, please excuse me a moment. Okay, right. Okay, so we got the window here. Okay, so you got your wide angle there, your telephoto, and your ultra wide there. Okay, all going switch between lenses fine. So let's test the problem of people taking 4 to 7 seconds to save a photo. Okay, let's try that. Not even half a second there. We'll do it again, and now we'll do it to zoom. Telephoto, that is. Not even half a second. Wide angle. Again, not even half a second. Now let's experiment that further. If you are in lower light, say for example here, watch the difference in save time. A second and a half, maybe 2 seconds. Again, second and a half, maybe 2 seconds. And have you noticed it's taking longer to switch to ultra wide? That's because the light is much lower. So people having problems, you might want to consider that. Oh, don't forget, here on the left hand side we've got your cog. You switch to your selfie camera. I'm not going to do that. You don't want to see a picture of my ugly mug. You've got your brightness and your colour, as you can see. You've got your aspect ratio. You've got your bokeh mode there, right? And you got your, there you go. There's your bokeh. And you got your flash, etc. Okay. So basically, that's it. Unless you want to go into manual mode. You've got your basics on here as well. You've got your autofocus. You've got your, I think that's your shutter. Is that your shutter or shutter angle? You got your ISO, AV brightness, blah blah blah, and you've got your white balance, the usual. You got your HDR here as well, cell timer, flash, and the usual. Basically, that's just a quick run through. Okay. Hope to speak to you soon on the Sony Xperia forums, or actually on my YouTube channel. Take care, and I look forward to speaking with you on the next tutorial.